Well, because like maybe that's what you like. I mean, with the clean sword and like the, blood spatters everywhere, it seems maybe you like the mess.
This is one flavor.
Okay.
It's like I can't go after you as directly as I went after Natasha because I think you're way more brittle than she is.
That's possible. You'll find out soon enough, I'm sure.
Well,
I think you're
uh,
more trying to find out where to stab or where to slash, but like.
I don't think you need slashing. I think you need love and support and kindness and something to where you can put down that sarcasm and the joking so that you can have a different experience. But I don't think you'll put it down in the face of potential pain.
What kind of pain would that be?
I don't know. I don't know what your fear point is.
Probably letting down the people that I care for. That's probably like the biggest.
Well, then it looks like you bathe in that pain all the time. You're aware of the fact that you're not doing 90% of what you could be. They may not know that you're not performing where you could be, but you do.
I'll ask them.
You think they're going to tell you the truth?
I would hope so.
Well, yeah, hoping.
I mean,
Would you
but
bet
that's
money on it?
with at least some of them, yeah.
Well, you feel better here, more grounded.
But I assume Alton at least wanted me, or at least suggested that I come for possibly an interesting conversation.
It depends on what you want to talk about. What would you like to talk about? Nothing's off the list with me. We can talk about it.
So this past couple of weeks, I've made an experience where I started a project with someone from the conference where Alton and I met, where probably because of the vibe between the people who were at the conference, I felt I could really go into the project without too much hesitation or doubt or like whatever. And I want to do that more frequently with other people in my life. So maybe we could talk about that.
Are you doing that now?
With this person, yes.
No, no, here, now.
Oh, well, I'm talking to you. I mean, if that's what you mean, sure.
One, how much are you going into it and not hesitating and not second guessing yourself?
Well, I'm really trying to connecting with what comes up for me as you ask me questions.
Oh, good. Are you succeeding?
So far, I would say, yeah.
Good.
You want me to tell you more about the story or like, would you want to ask
Yeah,
questions?
I'm I'm here just being me. I got no place I want to go. I'm like I'm interested in what lies behind your public face.
Hmm.
And but that's just that I'm interested in that with everybody. So
What lies behind my public face?
yeah.
A lot, some cute animal voices, for instance, which typically only my husband gets to hear.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, being probably my private self is even more silly than my public one.
I imagine. Your public
Um,
one is, I mean, in my world, is pretty silly. So
yeah, you haven't seen my private one yet. Um,
yeah,
um, I think I'm publicly more deferential. So
okay.
there's a bit more. I mean, the fact that, for instance, I didn't say anything during the session,
Yeah,
I could have jumped in a couple times or, whatever, but like, I was like, no,
yeah.
no, it's all good. So there's a bit of, yeah, a deferential stance, I would say, publicly. Um,
How's that working for you?
who, in some situations, I would say pretty well.
Uh-huh. It gets you what you want,
It doesn't get me into too much trouble,
and you don't want to get in trouble.
not into the kinds of trouble that I don't get into because of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
But there are other kinds of trouble that you like getting in.
yeah, sometimes I think it would be, well, I wouldn't call it trouble. I would call it opportunity. I would call it an opening somewhere. And for that, you have to be non-deferential
Now,
to open.
can you put some more flesh on that skeleton?
Oh, yeah. So at work, for instance, like the times that I have, let's say, spoken out of turn, yes, in the moment, it was a little unpleasant and awkward. And some people probably in the room were like, who's that guy talking out of turn? But in the next meeting, for instance, then with my supervisor, I had a much more productive conversation afterwards and it opened things up. So it's kind of this thing where, yeah, in the moment it's a little awkward, but there's typically, on occasion at least, an opportunity coming from it.
So
But
you could have tried that
not
with,
always. Not always.
yeah, but given what's happened before, you could have tried that with when Natasha and I were talking.
Yeah, but I was just like too interested in like listening where this was going. I mean, as I said, I could have taken out my popcorn. This was just like fascinating. I mean, obviously I was lacking about at least 30 to 40% of the backstory. I think I could follow some
There
of
was
it.
no backstory.
Whatever I
That's
was
the first
missing,
time I've ever met her.
I was missing something maybe between her and Alton, or like whatever. I was missing something, I guess, because there was a moment of like, I don't even know exactly where that came from, but that's okay. I think at least I had a story that I was telling myself that was interesting. Let's put it that way.
Okay. I like your aggressiveness.
Okay.
Costumed as it might be in funny animal voices and sarcasm. Yeah, that one. Hmm.
Um, well, what makes you like it?
Because I think it gets things done. I think it's you have a good bullshit detector and you have a good there's too much fluff in this. Like if I was your boss, I would find places for you to be more aggressive. Because I think that when you're not being aggressive, you're being your agreeableness makes the soup more watery.
It can. It absolutely can.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. But
Yeah,
like
when
with
you're
ev
being
with every trait, I see value in it's a little bit like having a very wide range on a dial. I see value of having a wide range on which I can, be very soft, be a bit harder.
I wish you had said I could be very soft and I could be very hard
I don't know if I can
rather
be very
than
hard. Yeah, no,
yeah,
very
that's
hard is not this. Maybe I don't know. Maybe because I have two older brothers and I was the youngest, and I got a little bullied, and so like my nervous system never kind of felt particularly drawn towards that end of the spectrum.
that's you can always learn.
I could, but
Why are you smiling?
I don't really have the taste for it, I guess. So like imagining myself
Yeah,
that way, it's I guess, but I like maybe if what some people at the conference that we shared, Alton and I, because they speak of societal collapse. Yeah, there might come times when being able to be very hard is particularly useful. So I'm not discounting the like the benefits of that.
practice before you need it.
Uh, do you want to be a sparring partner?
I don't. I could try.
Because like being very hard, I don't want to put that on like pedestrians that I just like happen to meet.
You can be as hard as you want with me.
Yeah, at the moment there's really kind of it would be very artificial if I tried to.
Yeah, well, when you practice new things, it always feels artificial.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
mm,
So over here, there's two ways of being hard. One is the projection of strength, and the other one is the hardness about being revealing about yourself. So there's two different kinds in my world. There's two different kinds of strength or
mm,
hardness or potency.
yeah, I very much agree with that.
Okay.
Um, and so maybe yeah, I could start. So I after Alton shared that he's doing this with you, I did watch one of the videos that he put out. I think it's from last week where James and Victor were joining you guys. And at least I would say from a revealing perspective. Yeah, there were moments when I had to laugh out loud, and there were moments when I could feel my nervous system really kind of flinch a little bit. And I think the flinching was mostly around, I don't know.
That's,
Yeah, maybe this kind of like memory of being bullied or something. It like there were moments when I felt like you go at it pretty hard.
me, moi, little
But
old me, Mr. Teddy Bear.
No, yeah, well, that episode was probably the particular highlight.
Uh,
The teddy bear, I mean.
mm,
Not you, by the way, but the other one.
yeah.
Um,
You're doing it again. You're being really hard, but you're hiding it.
well, I'm trying to sense into like what I found upsetting about it.
Hmm.
And it was not that anything you said was wrong or but yeah, it seemed to suggest to me somewhere between recklessness and just like not caring about the consequences. Something like that.
Hmm.
And like I generally guess I don't like I'm not sure I would want to go to a bar and have a beer with you, for
Well,
instance.
why not? What would happen?
I can't say, but it's just like, you know, um,
I might have a conversation with somebody like I did with Natasha. That would be horrible.
it depends on whether somebody, I guess, brings their teddy bear into the bar. Although,
Hmm.
as long as there's enough space between us and you get into the fight and I can just stand there and eat my popcorn, maybe then I would actually enjoy it. That's entirely
You
possible.
probably would. You probably would. And who would you be identifying with? Me or the person?
I guess that depends exactly on what you would be telling them that gets you two into a fight. Because yeah, like
Mhm.
if last week you would have gotten one on the nose after making those comments about the teddy bear, I think I would have been like, yeah, one more time, please.
As a favor to me, hit him one more time,
Yeah,
please.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. He needs it. Right now he needs it. Or at least like you
Mhm.
were asking for it. And kind of it felt to me like you're asking for it. But it's kind of
What am I asking for?
maybe for someone to just say stop, but to say it in a really in a way where it cannot be misunderstood. And yeah, I think, if someone gives you one on the nose, that's a pretty good stop sign.
I'm looking for strength.
Yeah, I can tell that you're probing. You're definitely
Yep.
probing for that. Absolutely.
How does it feel to be probed by Craig Rymont?
So far, so good.
Oh, good. I learned from the aliens.
I don't know what you mean by but like
That's a
you know.
that's an American joke about the in the United States the aliens take you and then they anally probe you all the time. I don't know why aliens would do that, but
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I didn't get the joke, but
yeah.
that's okay. Anything else you learned from them?
Yeah, but it's not something that you want to put on a live stream on Facebook. People might be taking notes. You don't give a child a loaded gun.
At least not in this country.
Yeah. Well, in this country you do, but not in your country. No.
Um, but yeah, so I'd say like, like watching that video, I certainly felt both intrigued, otherwise I wouldn't be here, as you might have guessed,
Mm-hmm.
and mildly confused to say the very least.
You don't strike me as a person who gets confused very often.
Oh, I do all the time. But
Really?
yeah. I mean, like, I still don't fully understand, even after asking Alton, like, a little bit, what's the deal between the two of you?
He
Because
doesn't understand it.
I understand there's
I'm
some
not.
agreement or soul contract that Cray gestures at.
no, but I mean, contract, schmontract. I mean, like, seriously, like, who cares about the contract? Because I still think, no matter what you said last week about like only showing up and like a few minutes before, still wondering whether you're gonna show up or not, I think you enjoy this.
I
No, no,
do.
yeah,
Doesn't mean I like it.
Now you see me confused. Like enjoying and liking, I'm not entirely sure I can put those two like apart.
It's like it's.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
enjoying and
There were things I did as a young lad, sexually, that I enjoyed, but I didn't like me enjoying them. So I didn't like them. I did them, but I didn't like them.
yeah, I can interpret that in any number of ways. Maybe you have a split personality. That's entirely possible.
I wish I did. I often wished I did. When I was a lifeguard for a long time, and I wish I could just check out and let somebody else sit in that stupid chair for hours and hours and hours, and I could go to some other place and do something. But no, wasn't a multiple. It's like it's the best thing I can say is that occasionally it's like eating popcorn or eating cotton candy or eating something that is tasty but has no nutrition. I come here, the dances are very entertaining, but they rarely turn into nutrition.
So what would make them more nutritious? With your 2-second rule, don't think too much. Just say it.
Right. Ooh, see there. That's you hiding the strength again. That's you making a joke out of something that you're like, I'm gonna fuck him with this. I am going to fuck him with this one. He said that. Now I am going to fuck him with this.
Yeah, always be
Yeah.
careful what weapons you hand out, Cray.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna lube this one up. He's gonna take it dry. Yeah. For people to actually, instead of being led by me, to lead back, but still staying with the same kind of music.
So you feel the dance is just not interesting enough. You need more tango?
No, it's interesting, but there's not switching. You know, like BDSM switching. There's no switching. It's the same. I'm always leading. I'm always leading. I'm always leading.
Yeah, yeah. Have you considered having like signs in the background, boring, boring, and then people have to kind of step up a little bit?
No, I tried saying I'm bored. I didn't even use signs. I said this is really boring, and they didn't change. Why should they? They have no investment.
Well, I think it's also not. No, you won't take it as criticism anyway. I think your personality is pretty big, and yeah. So like, I think once people get into that presence, there may simply be this. Okay, here's the leader. You lead. So if you want people to lead, I mean, maybe I don't know. Like you're not the guy to step back a little bit. No.
No, that's
Okay,
Alton's
yeah.
job. Alton's very good at stepping back and
okay. Okay, so you want it to be more interesting and people to take the lead, but you're not willing to step back from time to time. It's like, okay, you get what you're asking for.
Yeah, push me down.
Okay, Alton, maybe every once in a while, just like get someone for the ring.
Get someone for the ring?
Yeah, like a Cray V2, or like, I don't know, like someone who can, make it a bit more interesting for your sparring partner.
You want somebody to like match or to be in a similar weight class as Cray?
I think it would be more interesting for him.
I have it that I'm like training a whole group or crew to be able to ultimately do that. But I don't have it. Yeah, but I don't have it that I don't want to fool ourselves into thinking we're already there.
Jochen, look at Alton. Does he hang around and socialize with people in my weight class? No, he doesn't.
But I think it's not about weight class. I think it's a different sport.
It could be. but it's still, it's
Like for instance, I mean, do you hang around with millionaires?
me?
Yeah,
No, I don't give a shit about money.
exactly. So that's also a different weight class. I think like it's just a
No,
different
no, no, no,
game.
no, wait. If you have the millionaire who daddy gave him the $1 million. You have
No, no,
the
I quite honestly, no. I like, I mean, yeah, maybe. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I don't think it's necessarily the full picture. I don't think so.
you're gonna put me in the room with somebody who has $1 million, and I'm gonna go, why am I in the room with him? He doesn't do the maybe he's really good at making money, but that's not what I'm good at. I don't
Alton,
why am I going to
you should get Elon. I think Elon has the millions, no, the billions, and I think he might be able to push back. I think Elon would be able to push back.
what's his name push back? Winslow?
Elon Musk?
No, Winslow. A friend of ours, like an acquaintance of ours.
Yeah, I haven't sent
He
messages.
pushed back, but it was more like upper body. So,
Mhm.
Would you prefer a kick in the balls?
I don't know. I don't know if anybody could reach my. So there you go.
Yeah.
How did Winslow push back? This was on when he was there in person when you came out to Puerto Rico.
Yep. But we were in a very rarefied place when we were dancing fairly intensely. So
And I assume when you enjoyed it the most, he was pushing on back on something that's really important for you.
no, there's nothing that's really important.
Nothing at all?
Not like that. He pushed with analysis and the reveal of nuance. Like it's like if you're talking wine with people and you're like, oh, they're talking rose, and then you're like, oh shit, they really know their wine. Like Winslow, I didn't know Winslow knew anything. I knew he was a great business person, blah, blah, blah. I didn't know he knew anything about Buddhism or philosophy or things. And as we talked, the things that he was talking about revealed that he knew some really interesting shit. And so we could push each other, or the contact was the pressure was nice. It was very firm pressure.
And that's what I meant. Like you probably at least care about, well, not necessarily all philosophy, but at least, some philosophy maybe.
Maybe I don't know.
That's
I'm
a
not
rare
going to die for
that's
philosophy.
that's a rare non-committal statement out of your mouth.
Yeah, I know. Don't confuse the merchandising with the product.
Yeah, no, I get that. I've been a programmer and pretty good at the product, not so much these days my interest. Although it once was, at least it was my interest. So otherwise it would have been very difficult to get into it so deeply. But I think if you didn't have some interest in like the sparring around philosophy, like literally the enjoyment, and there's some spark in your
No,
face. I don't know.
not most of. I know lots of philosophers, but if it's just philosophy
No,
talk,
no, 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 no.
if it's not in their
That's not what I'm.
body,
I don't mean propositional philosophy. I mean like lived philosophy. I think that's something that you like sparring about.
so we're getting closer to his wood pile. We're
To to
not
to
there yet. Your
closer to the
wood
what?
pile, the thing that burns in you.
Yeah, I would say there's definitely something where I like to figure things out. I like to figure people out. Um, I like to figure out why I feel about people a certain way. That's definitely a big thing. Um, there's some aspect that is like, I guess I wish I could understand people that are hard to understand, because then something would become possible. I'm not entirely sure what that would be, but it really, I have a fascination for people that many other people seem to have a hard time understanding, and that where those people don't have an interest in that.
Such as?
Well, a lot of people that I know who hate Donald Trump, and I want to figure out what is this and why do they hate them? And it's like, because I find it interesting, this kind of energy. Like, I find it an interesting energy to figure out.
Who do you hate?
Who do I hate? Uh, I find hate a strong word. There's people I avoid, but like hate.
There's no person that you hate.
No, if you ask me, do I hate Hitler? Do I hate name anyone? I don't think that I hate them. I find them like, I don't know. I don't understand them. I find it tragic. I
Do
find them violent. I find them disgusting. But
do you
hate,
love anybody?
yeah.
What? Are there any other emotional things that you don't do with people? You don't hate them. Are you jealous?
Of some people, but very few.
Mhm.
Yeah, very few. Um, anything that I don't do with people emotionally. I try no longer to consider people as the salvation, which I certainly did in the past. That was, oh my
Uh-huh.
goodness, that was a shit show.
Do you do lust?
Lust. Yeah, to some extent, I guess.
What were the emotions you had about Natasha?
Um, Initially, I guess just like some kind of mystery, some kind of my like curiosity. Um, and then I think about halfway into the conversation between the two of you, I felt like, yeah, pretty connected. I felt honestly that I understood something that you might not have understood, but that's okay.
Mhm.
Not that I can guarantee that I understood it because I don't know her, but at least I felt like, yeah, I think I'm getting that particular aspect. And then it seems that I had the opposite experience where like you seem to understand something where I felt like I don't even know what they're talking about. So that was also interesting.
Do you do spirituality?
What exactly do you mean by that? Like,
I have no idea. I don't believe in it, so
I guess I like honestly, I don't know exactly what like I do I believe in what? Ask me any more concrete questions.
and do you have religious experiences? Do you have spiritual experiences?
Like seeing angels or something? No.
I don't know what your culture has defined
Yeah,
as
yeah, but then like if you don't even know what the question is, how am I supposed to answer it? I mean, seriously, Craig.
because you're gonna say, oh, on the road that time I had an experience. I said, oh my God, that's a
Oh,
spiritual
oh,
experience.
okay, okay. I think a long time ago when I was in a car crash and I think I could have died, that might have been a spiritual experience, yeah.
Okay. But you don't routinely
I don't
I
routinely
don't
crash my car, no.
okay, good. Shoot.
Um, I have experiences that feel meaningful without me being able to pinpoint an immediate stimulus. Yes. If but they're not supernatural. I don't attribute
So,
them to any kind of like woo-woo or something.
so you don't do woo woo.
Not in the sense that I understand the word woo-woo. But
Okay.
maybe if you observed me, you would still say I do woo-woo. So I can't answer that question definitively.
Mhm.
Um, but for instance, I have the experience that most of what makes my life worth living is not my mental content, is not my thoughts.
What is it?
It's my it's my little animal inside. It's like the thing that leads to primary raw experience itself, whatever that is, consciousness. But that's not like linguistic thought. I mean, I can amuse myself with thought. I can tell myself jokes. I can literally I can watch you and Natasha and tell myself a story and laugh about the story that I'm telling myself. So it can be a source of fun and joy, but the joy itself is not the thought. But if that's already woo-woo, then I guess I am woo-woo.
I think that is more what I would call primal.
Yeah, I would
More,
say
yeah.
I would say my aliveness, feeling alive, feeling something is fun, is not a thought. If I go if I ride a roller coaster and it's fun, it's not because I think like, oh, this is fun. That's not why it's fun. There's an experience of boundary, of like getting very close to what I can deal with and like enjoying that experience. Just like I would say talking with you is a little bit like that. Because
like skydiving, or
who knows what zinger you're gonna come up with next.
Yeah.
So, you know, that kind of thing. And it's not that experience is not in the words. The words transport that experience. They generate it, but the experience is something else.
What do you do with this? You just
Do I have to do anything with it? I
you
just
don't have
enjoy
to,
it.
but not the thing, the philosophy that you're talking about.
What, like whenever I talk to people about it, they say it's boring. So I don't do anything with it. I don't try to proselytize people. Like, what good would that do?
You might get more people having fun with you.
Oh,
You
I have people having fun with me. But I guess the advantage is, since I'm not in any way famous, I don't have people try to knock on my door all the time. For me, it's more like fun on demand.
You a father?
I would have wanted to be, but so far, no. And my husband is not particularly amenable at the moment, I think.
At the moment, I think.
Yeah, at the moment, I think.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Why would you want to be a father?
Oh, I very much enjoy the experience of seeing humans develop. It's like I've you know, I have worked a bit as a coach, and I really like I like seeing the stretching, where like almost in front of your eyes, someone develops another capacity. One of the best things to witness.
You could teach.
I could.
Doesn't pay very well.
That's, you know, that's one thing, but it's also, I mean, since I tried to, I mean, I studied to become a teacher and then dropped it. There's something, I think it's more like the cultural environment in which I grew up, in which I still live, that considers teachers, like there's something about the role, the flavor, the experience of the role that I just don't enjoy.
It's weird. My story about you is that you're like a jungle flower trying to be in an English garden and trying not to draw too much attention to yourself.
Yeah, that's, you know, maybe that's not too bad, not too shabby. And so far I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
One day the gardener will come and chop my head off, I guess. But like until then, I'm enjoying the show.
what would your native environment look like?
People with less sticks up their ass, generally speaking.
Where do you live?
In New York City.
Oh, Jesus.
But I think America overall, my experience with Americans, broadly speaking, is there's a lot of some kind of reactivity, some kind of, it's not defensiveness or aggression per se, but like something like, it doesn't feel super relaxed to me.
Have you ever been any place that was super relaxed?
More relaxed than America, yes.
Mm.
Like the Netherlands. I've been in the
Yeah.
Netherlands, and that felt like much more like, I mean, just to give you an example, I was on vacation with my brother, and we went to a place where we had booked a hotel. We didn't know where exactly it was. That was way before you had, you know, a map on your phone or something. It was the time before smartphones, and we just didn't know where to find the hotel. And we stopped somewhere, and the guy was literally cutting his hedges, and we asked, "Hey, so would you know where the hotel is?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, follow me." And he got into his car and started driving. And because he was just like cutting his hedges, we are like, "Okay, it's gonna be like just around the block." And he was driving and driving and driving in like 10 minutes or something. And then he dropped us, and I was like, "Yeah, here's the hotel." And it's like, what the heck just happened? Like, I cannot imagine. Like, like seriously, not in Germany or here in the US. It's like so difficult for me to imagine that to happen. Maybe
Yeah.
like in Crazy Town or something.
In small towns in the United States, it's so
Yeah, but like, but even there, I mean, like not maybe in the average small town. I mean, you know, like I haven't been excessively or extensively in the countryside, but I have driven
Yeah.
through the country, and that kind of, a stranger pulls up, asks a question, clearly having an accent, disrupting your day, and you spending 20 minutes of your time just to be a good neighbor. It's like not very common around here, I think.
Not in New York.
Yeah. I mean, it happens. No, like it does
Yeah.
happen. And the funny thing is, in fact, maybe, I don't know, like did I anyway, no, I don't recall. I definitely mentioned it to someone at the conference. It may have been Alton. I do think one of the best ways to make friends is to ask people for a favor,
Mhm.
which is weird, but like, you know, like, and so I think people
What were you doing at this conference?
hanging out.
What?
I mean,
Why were you there?
oh, I guess like because I'm in a group that James Baker, who was here last week, organizes, Intentional Society, and he advertised it, and I figured this might be fun, and so I went.
Was
And
it fun?
I met Alton. That was fun. I met some other people. That was fun. I started on a project with someone. That's fun. No complaints, whatever. $50 for all of that. Very well spent. If seriously, Cray, if every $50 I spent in the last year had this much ROI, I wouldn't complain at all.
Why do you say ROI?
Isn't that kind of like the lingo? No, I guess like,
Not for
okay,
me. I'm just
okay,
like,
sorry.
you don't look like an accountant.
No, but I dabble in so many things. I'm an expert in nothing, so I can use whatever lingo I like, I guess. Don't nail me to the cross, please, because once you now start unpacking your accountant lingo, I'll be completely at high C.
I've already done my one bit of accounting lingo.
Good to know. At least we won't get into a fighting into a fighting match on that territory.
So, Alton,
Yes.
private face of Jochen. So, pirate, um, willing to kill if that's what's needed to get the job done. A bit of a sadist. Doesn't like fluff, doesn't like unnecessary clutter, would rather have it be clean than polite. And so if you were looking for somebody who you were looking to trim the fat, his dark side would be a good choice.
I wasn't aware that this is an interview of sorts.
It's not. He needs practice of not being beguiled by people's public faces.
The sadistic patterns are because he seems so willing to take pain and hurt himself.
No, because he shows up as soft, because he shows up as agreeable, because he shows up as the sarcasm, the shoving my own comment back up my ass.
Well, you had it coming. Come on, Craig. I mean,
See,
please.
now this is him joking about the sadism, because for him, that's taking something that somebody says and holding it and waiting for the opportunity to use it. Okay, that's a particular kind of. So you want to play? I'll show you what I can do.
Yeah. But typically, Craig, I don't do it with people who I think will fold. I think that might be, and I'm not saying that you do it intentionally. No, that's not what I'm saying. But at least I think, yeah, you don't discriminate. You will beat up everyone, which, it's okay. I think I try to pick my victims.
Yeah, so victim and the smile. He does pick victims.
Yeah, of course.
Well, not of course.
No,
good people don't pick victims. Bad people pick victims.
Yeah, if you believe in good and bad, I can't help you with that. I don't think that anyone is free of that particular vice. I mean, show me anyone on this planet who hasn't thought about anyone else. I wish that guy would get a good beating. Show me anyone.
Yeah, but most people aren't going to out it on a public feed on Facebook.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But at least all the people in my life who I care about know that I wouldn't pick on them, and nor on anyone who I think they care about.
But people outside of that social group you wouldn't mind picking on.
If I experience them the way that I experience you, Cray, I don't mind if people think that I would pick on those people. Sure. Because they, like, some people have it coming. It's like, just like, I don't know. Like, I don't have to dump it on Trump, but like, I think most people probably kind of think either he deserves it or they think he should be able to take it.
Right. Would you cause your family members pain if you thought it was a good thing?
What is good thing? What is good thing? You have to be very specific. Give me an example. One specific
example. If they cut themselves and you had the capacity to sew them up, and you said, I'm going to sew you up and it's going to hurt a lot.
Yeah. If I had the capacity, which I don't have it in the surgical department.
Right.
But let's say if I could, if I know, for instance, according to my understanding of their psychology, that it would be better to go through, let's say, telling me a painful story once and telling it to me today rather than sitting with it. I would ask them to tell it to me today. Yes.
No. Would you sew somebody up?
I don't know how to do it.
I know, but if you did, so let me
Oh
tell you the
yeah,
story.
no, yes. If I knew,
Okay.
if I knew how to, yes, and of course, if I could see blood and all of this other shit,
Yeah.
of course.
Hmm.
If I went through medical school, of course I would. Yeah. I mean, I'm not afraid of pain. Sorry,
It's-
that is like
It's not whether you're afraid of pain.
not
it's
of my
will
pain
you
and other people.
cause.
Yeah, I'm not afraid
Yeah,
of other
okay.
people's pain either. Pain is not the measure of, but that's for me also why I think like good and bad. For me, pain is not a bad thing. I'm very glad my feet experience pain each time I run into an obstacle. They would look terrible if I didn't experience pain.
Jochen, do you have anything published?
I have a Substack, sure. Yeah.
Check out his Substack.
And I think I've written about pain there. Yeah. It's like I think pain is a good thing. Not in the sense of a sadist where like I enjoy pain for pain's sake, but if pain improves a situation noticeably, where like without the pain it would get worse, of course. I mean, I'm not a fan of painkillers for just because it makes life a little more pleasant.
I like
But
the.
but I'm in the minority in this country, I think, and so I'm not trying to sell that to anyone because like very few takers at the moment.
See that sort of fire that's underneath what he's talking about right now? That's really interesting to me. I'm like,
Yeah.
can we follow this fire someplace?
Where do you want to follow it?
I don't
Yeah.
know. That's
I see.
I'm interested
So
in like mining for juice that is legible to me or the community, and I
well, I
hear a lot
think
of energy behind what you want to create. And I imagine there could be areas in which we are allies, and you could support as being a rallying flag for that. I still haven't found out exactly how to harness or harvest that, and that's just something I'm discovering more in this conversation too.
well, I would, for instance, say if my understanding, Alton, of like your gift to people is that because you can tell people in a way to be honest with you and tell you, how do you put it? You're the proverbial spinach in your teeth, something like that.
Personality spinach in their teeth, yeah.
And because the way of you approach them, I think they feel that they can trust that and they can play with it for a bit. And I think they get over some of their hang-ups in that department. I don't know how deeply it translates into their day-to-day life, but I guess that depends a little bit on if in the shared living environment they can see that everyone else is willing to give up their own self-defense as well, and then it's actually fun to tell people stuff. And once you make that experience, it is really fun to tell people things for you and for them, especially if you don't do it in this kind of hyper aggressive way. Yeah, then I think people can actually really learn that.
so that what he's pointing at right now. I don't think it has. I think that he holds the flame back from it, but I think that the politically correct version of what he's describing could lead to unpolitically correct, something that could be really interesting. So this is my opinion. I like your fire, Jochen. I like it a lot.
So do I.
Yeah, see, there's that flash of I like it too, and then he retreats back into the sarcasm.
Hmm.
Yeah. I know. Okay, it's 9 o'clock. I can go to bed. Can I go?
Thank you.
Where in the world are you?
You can go.
I'm in Massachusetts, or in, where am I? I'm in Maine. I'm on the coast of Maine.
Because I was just like, you want to go to bed at this time? I mean, we're in the
I'm
same time zone.
65 years old.
When do you get up in the morning? Don't tell me 9 a.m. Please don't.
No, I get up at 4.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm so glad that I meet with your approval. My sleep patterns no less. Good night, people.
It was
Nice.
fun. I don't know
Oh,
whether
I can
you,
stream on here. We'll continue chatting here. I'm about to head out, but yeah, I'll